Alright, let's kick this off. So, McGrency's sick. I'll take over the toolbox again. We've got a birthday, so Corey turns 34 on Friday. He's sick this morning, so wish him happy birthday when you see him. And Warwick, 8 years anniversary on Friday the 10th also. So we've got some positive recognition for last weekend. So James Link, Ops Supervisor for Elizabeth. He said he'd like to personally thank all those that assisted Elizabeth Depot on Monday after the tornado went through parts of Salisbury. We had multiple crews, contractors and many other supporting staff to get the customers back on. He witnessed the damage first-hand that morning and it was fantastic effort to get it all back on, so well done to everyone out there. That was a mess. David Painter, it's been amazing collaborative effort yesterday and overnight to achieve so much restoration work in such a short period. Damage on site was extensive. Paul Salter, so the Acting General Manager Field Services, great support and feedback on what was achieved, well done. Nikki Cheeseman, Enovan Head of Operations, well done. It was a great thing when your efforts achieve the outcomes you clearly have today. Have it recognised by customers and EGMs and alike. Shows just how appreciated your work is. Restoring power in conditions you have been working the last few days is not easy, but certainly appreciated. She said to pass on her thanks. Cobbs, it was a great effort to get this rebuilt safely and efficiently in atrocious conditions. It was even more special that all the people involved were on the RDO that came in when Cam called them. And Richard Amato, he wrote, "We are Enovan, well done DS." So that's unreal. The work everyone that was out there, that was a mess. We've got some enable on entries and just after some feedback so we can close these out. So this one was a wide load truck too close to work area. So reports after traffic control and work area had been set up appropriately. The lane had inefficient width to allow a wide load truck to safely pass by. This resulted in the cones being knocked over. So Seb has got a suggestion to ensure space is sufficient for all vehicles to safely pass by a work site and to stop work and not continue if it's not safe. Is there any suggestions on that? Just
I think we all sort of discussed on that one as well, and they planned it in late, I think, for night works, like it was on a Port Rush Road, I think it was on. Yeah, so I think just busy roads like that, it's probably
just take a little bit more time planning it.
Avoid that troublesome little devil.
Troublesome little devil.
When you got the D-type permit, wouldn't they have told you that wide loads are coming through?
Oh, I'm not around the DIP permits.
Yeah.
Was that our truck? Wouldn't
No,
have done it
I think
ourselves.
the
That
traffic
would be
controller on the day was pretty lost and confused with what was happening anyway, so he wouldn't have been able, he didn't even look at the D5 permit and stuff.
Yeah, he set up
He set up
like
at 9 o'clock and he
that.
wasn't allowed to
It was
until
like
10.
it's changed and
So
councillor
he
came
wasn't
out.
really with it. So whether there was other notes in there or not.
So give that feedback back to land and back
She
to.
knew about it, I think she was pretty sure she knew about it.
Yeah, both Leanne and Rexy knew about it after the fact as well, and so probably
Cool.
change it a bit, so.
I'll put that in. We have the next one, a switching pickup in the brief. So switching was to energise, this is quite long, so try to stick with me. Switching was to energise a new cubicle, 3672. This was a radial HV run that fed into a new cubicle with nothing else connected except the HV feed into LS4. The switching was essentially restoration only as there was no work to be done. An access permit was required to be relinquished and then commission the new cubicle. While carrying out the briefing, we got down to item 13. This item was to check C2817LS2, already live cubicle, earth switch closed and locked. This seems strange and we've been in discussion around this. The switch status was in the position, but the need to check this didn't make any sense as we were switching on the device related to live in the HV. This check was actually meant to read C3672LS2, check earthing switch closed and locked. In the new cubicle, this would align with the STR and model address item. Knock was called at the briefing desk. Discussion had that we thought the SB had a typo. It indeed did. Amendment was made, brief continued, switching was carried out without incident. So that's a lot to swallow there, but well done to the guys that picked that up. It's easily missed. And that was put in by Renzi. Does anyone know much about that? Or any suggestion? Or I think our briefs are pretty good. We're picking up these as you'll see the next one. So just well done and keep that up. Another one, incorrect mapping. So customer was turned off without being notified due to incorrect mapping. Seb again put a suggestion, continue to remain diligent when switching and ensure you have all relevant information related Switching program items are populated with correct times info. This will help keep track of things that are potentially wrong. There is a bit of summary on this one. So the customer that was not notified was mapped to transformer 36, which was not being isolated. Open points of LV feeder were all checked. This one particular was missed because the customer wasn't fed from the open point pole rather than pole west. This is shown via the red line attached drawing. The maps are wrong. We had one last week, I think. Yeah, we cancelled that job as well. Sapna are aware, we go back, just follow the right process like Seb said, just keep your items correct. They're filled out because these do get investigated. We just want to have all those switching sheets in line.
And you just get that feeling like when I got the call from customer relations, got back into the depot and me and Paddy started going through all that paperwork, you just get that uneasy feeling like, oh man, have we? Or
Yeah.
haven't we? Like we felt like we've done everything thoroughly, but then you sort of go, crap. You just had that feeling, so.
Exactly, just,
Probably while you're on the topic
Yeah.
of the mapping, like recently I had one the other night and a breakdown too.
Yeah.
It's sort of probably more important than too, just make sure you're aware of what's going on, pay
Yeah.
attention and stuff.
understand what you're isolating and what is live. We do feed these back to Sappin and get the maps changed, but there would be hundreds of them out there that are wrong. I think the last one we got here, missed switching item. During the switching brief for SB ending in 2462, it was noticed during the commission of a new pad mount TC had no item to check fuses open for an existing circuit of LV to a junction bit. There was an item to check LV CB open, but no mention of LV fuses. So another switching brief pickup. Cobbs released an email the other day. It had a list of all the near misses, and we had about 8 switching briefing pickups. It just shows how good our briefings are. So just keep that up. If you see something, just speak up in the brief. If you're not comfortable speaking up, come and see me, see the Sixers, but you should be able to speak up. There's not much of a suggestion on those because I work with the Sixers as to what went wrong. I think Dave's got some general depots going to go through.
Yep, so welcome back, Matt. Good to have you back. Tom Bell's won a role as an AMO within Sappin. So he finishes up, I reckon it's this Friday, I reckon, full long weekend, pretty sure. Oh yeah, pretty damn sure. Last day this Friday. So thank Tom, to wish Tom the best. I know he's at St Mary's, but I'm sure you've all got his number, give him a call. There's a new org structure will be coming out soon, that'll take into account those changes with Matt in, Tom out. A question was asked regarding a WorkMate app and how we add information to this EG. Found a site with an aggressive dog which wasn't listed on the app. The process to follow is to advise customer community, and they add that. So there's no way to add it on your WorkMate. So customer community. So would anyone here have their number? No. All right, we'll follow that up. If you've got an Android tablet, which everyone has, there's a short survey. Have you been sent that link to do a short survey?
No.
We should want to.
Should be in your emails. If not, let me know. I'll forward it to you.
So if you have, that'd be good because there's still a heap of people that haven't had the rollout. So if there's ways that you can make that rollout better, or things that you can do or feedback you can give to improve the use of the app, that'd be good. Switching mentor, Reese is stepping down. We're looking for a new switching mentor. Last week to get a nomination in to Justin by the end of this week. It's an important role. It's a good role to develop your leadership. It's a good role to have a influence and make positive change within your work group. Having talked about switching, next Wednesday, actually this Saturday, the 11th, is our 500th day. So let's just put your heads in the game this week. So next Wednesday, 3 o'clock, we'll have a barbie and some beers, and to celebrate that 500 days. That's a huge achievement. So we'll do something special on the Barbie. I don't know if St Mary's are going to be here, or they going to do their own, I think.
Yep, still
Yeah.
talking to Tim, but we'll sort something out.
Yep, couple last things, for those that are on the south side, so Justin's side, if you, nix the contact for the next 3 weeks while Cam's on leave. So if you are gonna be crook or whatever you need to contact, normally you contact Justin, contact Nick, and obviously if you would have contacted Cam about anything, then Justin's the man for 3 weeks. We won another plaque down at Port Adelaide. Most of it's going to be done during night works. That's at the request of the client. There'll be some that'll be done, may be done during the day, but a fair bit will be done during the night. Some good-looking fella here's made a quote that they're really high-profile jobs, and it's important that we do them well. They get spoken about a lot, you know, within SA Power Networks, and what a good job we do on the flag, so it's important we do that. The last one, a little while ago, the business asked to get vaccination statuses, and the way we went about it probably wasn't as well received as could have done it differently, I think. So they'll ask for in success factors. So there's 3 choices here. You can either go, if you want to, you can update your details in success factors, or if you're happy to provide booster status, you can let Mark know. And if you want to do it, that's what I'll do. I'll let Mark know. And if you don't want to provide that, then that's fine. Okay, but if you can do it by the end of the week, so we know who's updating it and who's not. So if you've had a booster and you're happy for the business to know, it's good for the business to know, and encourage you to do it, but you don't have to, then let Mark know by the end of the week. And to anyone that's here that worked over the weekend, well done. Shitty conditions, it just wears you down after a while, so well done for that. They're still putting stuff back together now, I think. Yeah, it's just relentless.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thanks, Dave. I'll jump across to you in a second, Seb. We had an issue last week transporting remote load switch boxes. So effective immediately, stop transporting remote LS boxes with insufficient support to the BT, sorry. Everybody's aware of this. We had a couple of issues last week, so I think the fix now, was it you much we're going to leave them in the box? Do you want to run the group with that?
So it's going to be a matter of the box that it's in now. There's a plate or a piece of wood that holds the low voltage box sort of supporting. That can come off. You can take the box out. The whole load switch and BT stays in closed, and then that'll go to site with Nick. And then while we're switching, we'll get to a certain point of switching, and we can notify Mick to say start undoing the box, and he'll do it all on site, so that way the BT stays secure.
This will stop the issues that we're having with the VTs. Nick's aware. If we are prepping and you're not sure, see Nick, see Ryan, see Renzi. So,
manage ones that obviously are already unboxed as well, make sure we transport the VTs correctly.
there is some photos here of previous ones. I think a lot of you guys were aware on how we were transporting them. We're just not going to do that anymore. We'll jump across to you, Seb, for your switching summaries.
Justin. So I just got a couple of switching alerts here I wanted to quickly share. So switching alert number 571, on the 9th of May, plant switching was carried out to allow G&B crew to work in Salisbury. On the 12th of May, it was discovered by the controller that the Downs feeder which they were working on, the CB was left in non-auto since the day of the switching, as the restore to normal part of the respective switching sheet had not been carried out. There was obviously no injury to personnel, no damage to equipment or loss of supply, but the event highlights the importance of completing the switching program at the end, till the end, and remember, when in doubt, stop, think, check, ask. It's just that little item, I guess, people just get tunnel vision with it, and yeah, just make sure you're running through your items correctly, and try not to miss them. It's a bit of a hard one to miss, especially sometimes when there's inconsistencies with a HV controller. They allow you to run through 10 items or 2 items, and they never really have any consistency with it. So that comes down to us marking our sheets as well. Switching alert number 570. On the 13th of May, unplanned switching was being carried out to attend several no supply calls in Old Ranella. During switching, there was a transformer H-phase fuse, which was found to be open. The transformer was required to be isolated for inspection and testing. However, the crew isolated the incorrect transformer via remote fuses. It was realised by the controller and the crew that they had opened the remote fuses incorrect remote fuses, and the crew closed the fuses and isolated the correct transformer. So this obviously goes down to us making sure we're at our right spot. Generally, remote fuses aren't actually marked on a feeder plan, so you don't really get any reference to them. You've just got to sort of sight the line as you go through. So that goes down to our mapping and all that jazz. So just make sure we're doing that. Liam's going to share the third one.
7th of May, planned switching was being carried out on EL07, Southern Industrial Area 11 kV. Feeder supplied from Elizabeth South substation to install and commission 2 new load switches and a cubicle. During the briefing on the switch date, the crew discovered that the SP was missing the item to check authorisation received from dispatch operations for life support customer outage. The crew added the missing item on their copy and advised the NOT controller. Also, during switching the SP, the crew found the item to advise HVC after operations complete was also missing, where they then proceeded to re-advise the NOT controller. There was no injury to personnel, no damage to equipment, no loss of supply to customers.
These are obviously just little items that keep getting missed, but they can actually cause quite an impact, especially if, say, a life support customer's been added in and haven't been notified, and we end up switching them off, and it opens up a massive can of worms for us. But Cobbsy did send through that graph, which I'm going to print off and probably share that around throughout the week, because it's quite impressive to see how many we're getting through in terms of switching incident averted and picking up stuff in the brief. It obviously goes to show the quality of our briefs and the tenacity of our switching operators and checkers. And I just wanted to touch base on mental focus and awareness. So if anyone notices, say, their checker or their operator or even someone during the brief isn't say focused, looks tired or just stressed out or just having a bit of trouble, just have a conversation. Try and have a conversation with them. Like, it's just it could be something small. Just give them that space to have a chat, and it might completely change the whole dynamic of their day. And they might actually say, "Yeah, I'm actually not feeling it," and it could completely avoid something catastrophic happening. So yeah, just have that chat if you spot something. It's all good. So that's all I had.
Thanks, Ed. One last one, safety bulletin around COVID. So the changes include the removal of mandatory mask wearing, except when required by SA Health due to being a close contact or entering a high risk environment. So aged care facilities, if we're still keep masks on your truck, if we're putting generators on, nursing homes, stuff like that, just keep them close. It also remains a requirement of the business to wear a mask where 1.5 metre social distancing cannot be maintained. So if we're doing a brief, we're all jammed in a room together, we're still got to wear a mask, so don't throw them in the bin, keep it close. You don't need to wear a mask in a vehicle if it's got controls as air conditioning, and everybody should feel comfortable. If you want to wear a mask, wear a mask. Do whatever makes you happy, makes you feel good. Working from home has changed, so 50% of all office staff are coming back. Doesn't really affect us here. And that's really about all that's relevant to you guys. Do you have anything you want to bring up? Everyone happy?
The next big safety day, I think I've spoken to most people, we're thinking about getting some curries from next door for lunch, which is on July 8th, I think. So if anyone has any special requirements, let us know.
I've got some work related one. We're just closing off jobs on Click Mobile, and it took me through AAT. Apparently you got to go through Field Client, and tried to do it, didn't know how, and then I gave it a go, because they weren't closed off the network, so apparently you got to go through Field Client as well.
Yep.
Like close off the job.
I had the same issue that I got to catch up with.
So
Paddy,
training
Paddy.
around that or?
Holiday.
Alright. Yeah, I've got it written down to follow up, I had the exact same issue.
Yeah.
Just the breakdown.
Yeah, because apparently, so you do click mobile, you get your job from dispatch.
Yeah.
So you complete your job, takes you through the AAT, and then doesn't prompt you to a client. So you think the job's closed off because it removes click mobile, it goes away, and you're like, you need to get another job come through. But then the jobs actually come back on click mobile, jobs that would actually come back.
Does anybody know what they need to do after that? Was it Phil Klein?
Fill the client.
Yeah. So I can't remember being run through that.
Nah,
Did
we
we?
did when we did our tough little training.
Yeah. I'll follow it up
I think
anyway.
there's some videos on how to do that, maybe we
Yeah.
should just run through that some
It's pretty sporadic, like some of them you'll sign it off and it works alright, and then other ones I found when, I think it was in Greece and I was doing a couple of breakdowns, you've got to go into field client, and there's like, you go into the incident portion of it, and there's a checklist that you can do that's pretty much identical to AAT,
Yeah, right.
I reckon, but it was, sometimes it'd do it, sometimes it wouldn't, so I'm
Yep.
not really sure what to go with.
We'll look into it and get an answer. Cool. Thanks guys, there might be some changes with sleepers and sick leave, so just bear with us. Leanne's off as well, so.
It's gonna be wet.
Me, Nick.
It's gonna be wet out there today, so but the ground's gonna be wet and it's gonna be wet all week. So just watch where you drive and where you park.
Like,
He's on it too.
Cool. Cheers.